I sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum.
Oh man, feels good to be back in the studio. We're live. It's 10 drink minimum. Billy is here.
It's been 2 weeks, right? Like it feels like a forever since we've done a show.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It feels like crazy, right?
Yeah. I feel it. I feel it.
I feel it too, man. So I was MIA. I was in the district.
Oh God,
hanging.
Love it.
I'm a part of it now, Billy. I'm all, hey man, what's up? They're all, welcome to the district, yo. They start, playing basketball and shit.
Like you're acclimated to that crowd. The thing about Chris going to DC, Chris, he can go to pretty much like here in Albuquerque and be, whatever.
Right.
Get your notoriety across, but you go to DC. And the thing is that when I lived in DC for those 2.5 years or whatever, it was hard to make. One, it was the pandemic, but two, it was one of those things like I don't have your like social acumen to where like you can go up and talk to somebody and like spend. So like Shelby and I always had this like Chris would like own this fucking city and like a weekend,
right?
Yeah, and it happens. Like you
run
one of these situations, and like you'll be like chatting up like a patron or like even the bartender, and who the fuck is this guy?
Man. See, I have great stories too from last week.
I want to hear it.
Okay, you ready? Are ready?
I
ready to buckle in.
Like I don't ask questions. Like I'm basically like you had your time in DC.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where like I'll get a text maybe like when I'm asleep. It's like, oh God, I just fucking had the best night.
Oh yeah,
just even chatting up.
We killed the drifter. We threw him in the wharf,
random kind of happenstance encounter with somebody like in the district. Because like the thing about the district is that there is so many fucking people that are from all types of backgrounds. Because like honestly, there's nobody who's from DC really. It's all about people who like are either dealt with the government or moved there for a job. And so you have this like, I guess culture of like nomads pretty much.
Right.
So they try to find their own base. They trying to find like some kind of like connection in just whatever part of town, part of DC. And so when you texted me, it's like, oh yeah, I've already met like fucking 5 people from New Mexico. Or
that's part of the story. First, before we start, though, this podcast is sponsored by the Finnish Long Drink. The legend since 1952. Smiley is just schlepping in late. Look at him. Let's do the shame camera of him walking in late.
He didn't know No Drink November.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, one, how it went. Well, first of all, I want to hear your stories.
Oh, okay.
But two, I want to know, like,
we'll get to Smiley's No Drink November. So, where do I start on this? So the first thing is first day. Let me hold on. I don't remember which microphone that is. Smiley.
And actually, can I preface this that you've been to DC before?
Yeah, this is my second time.
And so, like, I lived in a very kind of. I don't know, a cushy part of DC. It was one of those places to where like, oh yeah, the Bahamas live right over there. The question mark guy. So you like, I gave you what was in my reference of like, what was good bars.
And you run into shit like that where you're in a regular situation and all of a sudden you're like talking and you're like when that says U.S. Postal Service headquarters, that's like the headquarters of the post office, and they're like, yeah, of course it is, and they're like. Everywhere is a headquarters here of something.
Oh, of course.
And then like I saw NASA headquarters, So when you see that stuff, you're like, whoa, like kind of, it like takes you off guard. Of course, everybody's used to it, right? So starting with Monday, like I was like, last time I went, this wasn't a thing because I went in May, but I was like, I wanted to see if there was a hockey game or an NBA game or, whatever, so I could go to a professional sports.
We have the district.
Yeah.
I'm now calling it the district.
Yeah.
DC has a national football team. The R words won.
Yeah.
The Capitals won as far as like a hockey, and the Nationals won as far as like MLB. So we have all like the trifecta of championships.
Right.
Whereas like Cleveland has one.
Yeah.
Or like Atlanta has 0.
And the Bullets won in like 75 or 74.
Oh, that's right.
They had one banner in the rafter.
That's tight. Yeah.
And but the thing that kind of made me laugh was like they were called like the Baltimore something or other, and then they moved from Baltimore to DC, which isn't a far move. That's like
it's like here to Santa Fe.
Yeah, it's like an hour drive. It's like just move the team down there real quick, But so we went to the NBA game. It was Washington Wizards and Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, it's not an ideal matchup. It's not like a powerhouse team playing them or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, right. Then I look at the team, and I'm like, Kristaps Porzingis plays for the fucking Wizards now.
Oh yeah.
And Bradley Beals are all there, and Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma was the guy from the Lakers who won with the Lakers back in the day.
Is Jordan still like a
no?
Oh, okay.
Charlotte Hornets is who he owns now.
Okay, because I honestly, like after he came out of retirement, to play for the Wizards, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, let's ask Smiley. How are you doing, Smiley?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
I really wanted to test that mic, make sure everything. Good.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I'm here. I apologize for being late. I was inwardly swearing at my Uber driver. I thought he died.
Yeah.
I watched his little car just sit there for 10 minutes. I was like,
oh, I have some Uber stories too.
And I started hoping he would die. Maybe he did die. Maybe this piece of shit is dead, just sitting there on the side of the road.
Right.
You have like a sultry voice tonight. Kind of like
Smiley does.
Like,
are you sick?
Smoking some cigarettes, a little bit sick.
I may have done some chain smoking last night.
Oh, all right. Well, that's fair enough to know.
I like. Speaking of, No Drink November, I am on the bandwagon again.
Oh, okay. Well,
hitting oh my god, drink hard, huh?
And even November, it's like Smiley. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm driving.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, that was funny. So we go to the Wizards game, and it's my first NBA game, and there's like it holds like 20,000 people, right? I think there was maybe 3,000 there. It was fucking dead. Like no one was there. And we're like up in the nosebleeds because I'm the only one who wanted to really go. And everybody wanted to pay. Like first of all, they didn't want to pay a lot. Then they complained that the seats were small. And I'm like, dude, you wanted the fucking cheapest seats we got. That's what we get. But anyway, I go to get beers. Beers were $15 a beer.
For 12 ounce?
No, they were 22s. But still, that's not bad. And I'm in line, and this guy, starts talking to me, and he's like, "Are you a movie star? You look like a movie star."
You get that all the time.
And I was like, "What in the shit?" And I was like, "No." And I go, "No, I would actually have much better seats if I was a movie star." And so we go to the game, and like it just like the very first 3 shots made were by 7'3" Kristaps Porzingis from the 3-point line. He scored the first 9 points of the game from the 3-point line. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that was bang, bang, bang. He was just like, I'm fucking hitting it tonight. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, you would call that shooting your shot. It's like, like it's a 3,000 people here. I'm just going to like
fuck them. Yeah.
Does this game really matter? No, I'm just going to fucking light it up. See what happens.
Right.
Just see what happens.
Just see what happens. And he ended up scoring career high. It was the highest he ever scored in a game, 41 points.
What the hell?
Just so happened to be the one that I'm sitting at. Yeah. And he, I don't think it was anything to do with me, but like, it was a trip. Cause like, I was like, what? He hit 6 3-pointers. Guy's 7'3", hit 6 out of 10 3-point shooting, 60% from the 3-point line. And then, fucking dominates down below because he's 7'3". They just blow out the Timberwolves. Some of the cooler things though, the scoreboard in the middle, it was like a chandelier shape kind of thing. I said you saw the video, right?
Yeah.
But it's a chandelier of LED. Like it was multiple LED. And so like they could have separate things on it. Like one thing is like the score, one thing is like an advertisement, one thing is whatever, or it could all be like literally watching a movie. Because like at one point they did the opening and it was the dude that sang that song. Let's all make, and it was really him.
Yeah.
And he did that song. Y'all want to party like we do, and then he started like adding all the players' names into the song.
Oh god,
and it was so dope. But the thing that blew my mind out of my head is like I'm sitting there looking at the scoreboard and I start to see like dialogue on the screen, like kind of at the lower area, and it's like there was closed captioning for the people who were hearing impaired for the announcer, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I would have never thought of that. Like, and I of course I pointed it out to everyone.
Like, it makes all the difference for that one, like 2 people that were there. And I was like, oh yeah.
I was like, there's closed captioning for the announcer from the end. It's like 2 points, Kyle Kuzma, and then it comes up on the little thing. And the other thing that was really kind of cool and interesting is behind one of the goals, like there was space, and well, no, so right behind one of the goals, there was about 4 rows of seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a big red bar, like you could go stand at, like, you know, like if you go to a place to eat and there's tables and then there's like a place where you could stand and eat table wise.
Yeah.
There's one of those. And then
like bar seating, but you can actually watch the game.
Yeah. And then there was a whole fucking bar over there behind the basketball goal on the lowest floor. So I guess if you have floor seats, you could walk over there and just order. And it had a big ass Michelob Ultra, fucking like Michelob Ultra, like backdrop. And, you know, they had like a full bar, like over there where people were going up and getting drinks. I mean, the 20 floor seat people that have millions of dollars apparently can go and do that. And then they would do like, you know, anytime there's a timeout, they would do like contests and stuff, and they would have them down there in front of that Michelob Ultra sign. And so we're watching the game and we're so high up. You know, you saw like I was zooming in.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their mascot is, but they come out and there's like a timeout, and all the dancers have t-shirts and they're throwing them into the crowd, which, you know, they're having to like kind of like, you know, there's not a lot of people. So everybody's like, get a t-shirt. I was like, they can't throw one up here. It's too far. Well, the only person that had a t-shirt gun was the mascot.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know like what the mascot is. Like, is it Gandalf?
Is it Gandalf? No, no, it's not even like, I don't even know what the heck. It made no sense. Right. Yeah, that's him. He, yeah.
What?
I don't know what that is.
Is that a Muppet?
I guess he does have a wizard's hat on. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So it's not Gandalf.
So he's like kind of firing t-shirts into like the lower tier, and then all of a sudden I look away and everybody I'm with is like, holy shit. And he'd fired a t-shirt right next to me, and I just fucking grab it before this lady gets it. So I got a t-shirt that they fired up into the fucking rafters.
I always thought that shit was rigged to where like, but now like that you got one.
Yeah. And of course it's not, it doesn't fit. It's a large. So I'm going to give it to my girlfriend. So
yeah. Oh my god! I thought that shit was rigged. Like raffle tickets,
or I've got one before at like a Isotopes game, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I like ran and elbowed a lady in the face, knocked her into like the seats, broke her back, and I pulled.
So it wasn't like a little kid.
You know, I pulled a shirt and I pulled a shirt out of her death grip, you know, and then I open it and it's like Gallus Chevrolet. It doesn't even have the Isotopes on it, you know. You're like, what the fuck? And I just throw it at her body. You know, no, it didn't happen.
Welcome to Albuquerque.
I would pull that Gallus Chevrolet shirt out of like a fucking 5-year-old's hand. Like he would get it and he would like just enjoy it like warmly. Yeah. And I was just like, nope, it's mine.
You have both your hands on it. He has both his hands on it. And you just lift your leg and kick his face.
I would do that. I would go viral. Actually, you know what? I would lose my job because like, is this fucking Billy that took this fucking baseball away, or like a Gallus Chevrolet shirt? That would be me.
It's you just standing on a child.
You hold the baseball up like you're all. flipping the kid off.
flipping the kid off and flipping. I know it being filmed. Just
Yeah.
flip off the fucking camera.
Or you dive across like 4 rows to catch the ball and like shatter your back in the process. Like, oh god,
oh yeah.
I got it though. And then the kid takes it.
I would die to be one of those people,
Yeah.
like the kiss cam
Mhm.
people, to where like somebody I was next to,
Yeah.
and like say like somebody I'm just like on a date, like first date with.
They didn't do the kiss cam.
Oh.
They did instead of the kiss cam, because I think that's kind of like a rough thing nowadays. Because you have people that that aren't together. I've been on a kiss cam and I was like, this is not like we're a seat apart. Sorry, I don't. Yeah. And,
you and your boss?
No, it was me and my friend at the Isotopes game. But like at that game, they didn't have a kiss cam. They did they had like an old hip hop, because like here's the crazy thing. Everybody's always like, oh man, new hip hop is great. Anytime you go to anything like that, it's all old school shit constantly. So they had like some old 90s like hip hop song, and then they would put people in the camera and they would dance. They would show them dancing, badly.
I would be that operator of the kiss cam that'd be
chair
like,
dancing.
this is obviously this guy's mom. And then I would be like, zoom in, it's like kiss cam.
And then she would kiss you on the cheek, and you'd be like,
Oh, that's sweet.
But on the other hand, I'd be like, Mom, you want to do this? We can fucking do this.
oh, geez. I mean, that's it's all the rage on the internet.
Wow, dude.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah. That's what I hear.
Stepmom.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
That's what I hear.
So I'm trying to think what else happened. So then it was kind of cool. It's like, and I don't know if this is like NBA games, because like I've never really experienced this. I mean, I haven't. But like we kind of got like our little area. We kind of became a little community.
Oh yeah,
And
totally.
We all kept talking. So me and the guy, like every time Porzingis hit a 3, me and the white guy across the aisle, I'm hoping it wasn't because we were white. He would fist bump me. He'd be like, "Yeah, now he's in the game. Now we're taking control." Fist bump, and then I'm like, I hope he just likes Porzingis. I hope he doesn't like go, that dude's also white. I hope not, because Porzingis is like from like
some like Slavic,
Yeah.
like Nordic.
But then
country.
there was this like guy behind me, and he was pretty tall, so but older, like he was old like me, and so he looked like he also played. And he and I were like going, like just talking like about I don't know why he tried to make that shot. Like, I'd be like, right, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. He's like, exactly. And I was like, they should have done this. And that dude was like, yep. And we just like kind of went back and forth like that.
That's a hard thing to say. Like, if somebody who's just really in, maybe they're like Wizards fans for years.
Yeah.
But then we come out, it's like, oh, that guy I was talking to, fucking white supremacist.
Oh. Well, no, I was like, we were just talking basketball, because like Beal went underneath the basket and he landed all twisted. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I would. It's like, early on in the season, I don't know if I would be like pulling shots like that, because he came down weird and like hurt himself.
And you were like, it's just genes, like, so that's how it.
No. Now I think the guy across from me was a little like, white guy does good, yeah, kind of shit. But I was not. I don't,
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually pretty excited about Kyle Kuzma. I was like, look at Kuzma, he's like got 9 assists.
It's like, I don't know. He's kind of a distraction in the locker room. He's kind of like. That's always the argument. It's like he's just a big distraction.
Big distraction. He makes more money, and he's like, off the court antics.
Yeah.
I'm just astounded. There's a team called the Wizards.
Yeah. Well, they were the Bullets, and they decided that the Bullets wasn't a good name for a sports team because bullets.
Oh yeah, it's problematic.
Oh, yeah.
and violence.
Right.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's the one they decided to change.
Yeah.
Oh, and not like the
Yeah.
fucking like.
And then they were like, let's go with Wizards instead.
Yeah.
We are wizards.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
And it also has nothing to do with like DC in any way, shape, or
oh
form.
yeah. Also, it's really
Yeah.
fucking corny.
They should
Oh,
have
yeah.
been the DC Batman or something.
Well, or like, I don't know. I don't know what they would have been.
The DC,
DC Superman.
he's super. There you go. Way better than the Wizards.
Yeah. That would have been DC Superman. That would have been kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, DC would have probably shit the bed, but
Well, that's why I didn't use the A on it.
Superman.
Wow. It's weird though, because like that arena is down there in Chinatown.
Yeah.
And like, here we don't have a Chinatown. Like we have like the International District, I guess.
I have Talen.
Yeah. But like you go there and you're like, oh, it's McDonald's, but it's also spelled in Chinese.
Yeah.
Or there'll be like a Irish pub, but in Chinese.
Funny thing about DC, that's the second Chinatown. So they were really like further down into the wharf.
Yeah.
And then they were kicked out of like that development. So like they moved China. This is the second Chinatown they had. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, like geographical kind of like maneuvering they did to like actually make it I guess a viable place for like industry, like capitalism.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the second Chinatown. So they just like moved Chinatown like a mile over. Pretty much. It's an interesting story. Yeah.
That's so it could all like line up. They could get all their streets lined up. Isn't DC just like a big like Rubik's cube of street patterns?
I think it's a swamp. Half of it was a swamp.
No, he ain't lying.
And so like it was just like wetlands, like for where the Potomac is up to like maybe I guess to the mall. Even the mall was a fucking swamp.
No, does it stink?
It's muggy. It's very muggy. And when I went in May, literally they were like, bring mosquito repellent because
does every house you walk into just smell like rotting wood?
I don't know what rotting wood smells like.
I do. No, it's not that terrible.
Not terribly swampy then. Okay.
Yeah. There's peeps in there too.
Oh, I'll have one of those.
Yeah. It's pretty swampy, Smiley. Like you're going across, like when you start going across like the Potomac and stuff, you see like the swampy land. You're like, oh, there's water like all over the place. Yeah, it is. And then like the mosquito, imagine just being in a like large metropolitan city and there's fucking mosquitoes all over the place.
Sounds like hell.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm just kidding. But
you think it's like, I don't know what it is about my blood or like I've never had a problem with mosquitoes there.
It's terrible. I hate that for you poor guy. So then like we found these two bars that you said you didn't get to go to one, but you always wanted to. One was called Rocket Bar.
Oh yeah, Rocket.
Yeah.
No, Rocket Bar's right. That's the basement.
Yeah.
You go down and
it was.
Yeah, so I've been to Rocket Bar a couple times.
That place was dope. Great. It reminded me of kind of like if Anodyne and Sister were the same bar, because they had a bunch of pool tables and then it had like pinball and like video games and
several different bars. You have the main bar. You have like satellite bars all around.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
because I didn't even notice the main bar until like the lady was like, "This bar is closed," and I was like, "What?" Oh, and that was cool. And then they closed that one. We walked over and we went to the one that probably my new favorite place in DC. Got the Jackpot. Love that place.
Oh, yeah,
super divey. And they literally had like an old slot machine built into the wall that doesn't really work, but that's kind of their thing. Super nice bartenders. Super nice.
That's what you want.
Like they automatically give you a basket of popcorn and they come back over and be like, "You need more popcorn?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then that's where I drank several Narragansetts because that beer is
fucking phenomenal. I would go in with like they're all tall boys too.
Yeah.
And so
what's the slogan, Billy?
Hi Neighbor.
No, well, Hi Neighbor's one of them. The other one is official beer of the clam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the bar or the mollusk?
The mollusk. Okay. I mean, you can't. How do you like? I don't think that's true.
No, a 6-pack. It's like $7. So like a tall boy Narragansett. I would say like a 6. Actually, I would say it's more than like a fucking pint. But 6-pack, like $7, and you can get it at any of the places.
See, I typed in official beer of the clam, Narragansett Lager.
What the hell? Do they like to be cooked in it or something?
I don't know.
They're all cook us in this delicious.
It's so
beer.
good. In the can is so generic and
so Narragansett is actually like an indigenous people.
Is it
was?
Oh yeah,
was, and they went out of business. Back in like the fucking 60s or 70s, like once like
Hi Neighbor.
Yeah, that's like that's their other slogan. Yeah.
So like
there we go.
Somebody bought the recipe and like
smokes. Oh, there are recipes with fish, like because it's from New England somewhere. Where's it from?
I want to say like wherever the Narragansett
sold-
tribe is.
Sold on Merit. Super good.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then any Natty Bows?
I didn't have a single Natty Bow, but I'm gonna reel back on a beer that I talk shit about because I never had it on tap. Yingling on tap is fucking great.
Oh,
I've only ever had Yingling in the can, and on tap it is so much better.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then I bought it in the hotel I was staying in. They had a store downstairs, and I got it. You know, it was like, do you want Bud Light, Bud Light Lime, Miller Lite, or Yingling? And I'm like, Yingling, shit, you know.
You know, I prefer Brand X.
Right. So I had a full size refrigerator in my room. So I bought some Yingling and took it up to the room and would just sit there on my couch because my room also had a sectional. It had an L-shaped sectional, and my room actually had 2 rooms. It had a living room with the kitchen in it, and then a bedroom with the bathroom in it.
That's tight.
It was
Fancy.
huge. Yeah, it had a full size dishwasher.
What?
Like Smiley's. I knew that.
So you worked at an apartment?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, honestly, it was.
So this is 2 rooms in addition to a
Oh, yeah.
bathroom.
It was about 500 square feet, maybe 600. Yeah, easily.
All right then.
I could have a roommate in that.
But I was like, I didn't understand it. I was like, why would I need a full size dishwasher? Like, even if I was staying I stayed a whole week
For the dinner parties that you were hosting.
apparently so, because it did have a little table like you go eat at for 2 people, like we have in our house, and it was interesting. But like the Yingling,
Obviously, they don't care about water out there.
no.
Living in a swamp, they're like, whatever, wash
You
3
want
dishes.
because it had because the kitchen had almost as many cabinets as we have in the house, and like I was looking at them, throw them, and there's like 4 glasses, 4 bowls, and like some silverware, and I'm like, I guess we need the full size dishwasher, like brand new full size dishwasher in there.
What if someone just moves in here for ever?
Yeah, it was interesting. And then they would it cost you like $30 to do this, but you could order groceries and they'd bring them to you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. The hotel would.
What's the size of
the hotel would.
refrigerator?
Yeah.
No, like it's whole culture, like in DC,
Yeah.
like you don't booze delivered, groceries delivered. I didn't drive for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things like I would take whatever I could from the grocery store and like
you stole?
No, it's I would like buy like 1 bag's worth of groceries.
Okay.
And the rest just goes in your
There's no
pocket.
such thing as like a Costco run.
Yeah, they do this thing like Billy's right. Everyone has like this little cart with 2 wheels on it.
Yeah, I had one too.
And you go to the grocery store, you buy like what you need for like
A good 2 days.
2 or longer.
3 days, yeah.
And then put it, when you pay for it, you put it on that little cart and you pull it behind you the 4 to 9 blocks you live from the grocery store.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a Costco run.
Yeah, no.
Everyone there has hobo carts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was called Shamu
Yeah.
after my old minivan.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just like drag your cart behind you, just get as much groceries as you think you need for that week. You know,
our fans are listening. They're like, "Yeah, that's a big city life," and I'm like, "Not where we live. We still have that. Like, you can go to the store and like load up your car and go home."
I live within walking distance of a grocery store, so I'm
Right.
there like it's just something.
It's kind of like, so imagine that your life like that, but like literally like New York, like metropolitan. That's what it is.
Okay, I mean,
yeah.
So what? I mean, I go to the store like 4 or 5 times a day. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm out of tissue.
that's
I'll go
a
back to the
lot.
store.
No, I lived within like walking distance of like just this like a
Was
corner
it
market.
was it a full size grocery store?
No,
So
not by any means.
The one my friend who lives there, we went to the grocery store and it was the bottom floor of a building and it was as big as any Smith's or Albertsons.
I lived next to a Harris Teeter, which I would have if a walking distance like 10 minutes, scooting 5 minutes. But the corner store, like the little bodegas,
Yeah.
You would go to that shit.
But they're the ones who like nail you because they know you're like.
By walking distance, I didn't mean 10. Like, no, I meant like 2 blocks away.
No, walking distance there is.
I'm
like,
basically walking across the street. That's why I'm there so often.
Walking distance there is like anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Shelby, what she does because she won't leave the house. It's one of those things where like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend $200 on grocery delivery, and so like they'll tell you like there's a whole app. It's great. It's one of those things like, hey, we're like 10 minutes away. We're 2 stops away, and we'd sit that out there in front of our apartment with our with our little like I guess like the 2-wheeler to bring the groceries up.
Mm-hmm.
But also I worked at Trader Joe's.
You know what?
You still took your Shamu outside.
I took my Shamu, just for the curb.
You are right, because the apartment you used to live in, that building smelled.
Yeah,
it had a musty smell.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's the rotting wood smell he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it did. And I didn't go in this time. I went in it last time, and I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" And she's like, "It's an old building. It's like the water in the wood." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so cool thing. Last time I went, I was like, there's a lot of places I didn't like. It didn't really feel right to me. So a fan of the show, when I was supposed to go, like 4 weeks ago and it got canceled, he was like, hey, I listened to your show. I kind of have a feeling of what you would like. And
shout out to Jacob. Is it Jacob Roberts?
I'm going to call out his name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, you did now. Shout out to Jacob Roberts. And he's like, hey, he's a skater. He's like, here's the place you should go. So I ended up getting to go to, I looked up the main one he was saying, it was called the Pie Shop. Shout out to the Pie Shop. DC, H Street corridor.
A U Street.
No, it's H.
Like H. Okay, yeah.
And I asked, so when I was down there, I noticed like when they dropped me off, it's on H Street. And so I asked somebody, I was like, what do they call this area? And they call it H Street or the H Street corridor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because, you always want to know where you're at. And he's like, you want to go there, right? So I look it up, and there's a show on Wednesday, and it was a band called The Slaps. Well, that sounds like, all right, cool. I'll check it out. So I checked them out. And online, I liked, kind of like indie rock shoegazy,
Yeah, totally.
Very. And so I get an Uber over there, and we're driving behind the trolley. We're in like the trolley's lane, and the trolley's like in front of us. And the whole time I'm like, is this allowed? Because we have the art bus here, and you don't drive in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And
not unless you want to die.
Yeah. So finally I get out, and like I find the pie shop, and it's not started yet. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get food. So I go looking for food, and I walk about 8 blocks away, and I find a pizza place, but the pizzas are like this weird where they stretch the dough and then sauce it and put the things on it. So it's like a long pizza.
No, it's like a flatbread.
But it's pizza dough. It's not bread. And I'm like,
I'm imagining him stretching it like noodles.
No. It looked like whenever you squish a penny in one of those machines. Like that shape. And everybody's like, oh yeah.
That was a great description, yeah.
So then I noticed there was a taqueria place. And I was like, yeah, I'll get some I'm like, you know what? At this point, I'm here for the show. Maybe I'll get some pie. Tacos will be fine. I won't get upset with it probably. So I go into this place, and they have a little stand on the table that has the QR code, and it says, just order everything here and we'll bring it to you. I'm like, cool. So I order like 3 tacos and Victoria beer,
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. And they bring it out, and I start, and then chips, and I'm eating the chips, and they bring you the salsa in a squirt bottle. So I'm squirting the salsa onto the chips and eating them. All of a sudden, this couple that is over in the corner, like we're out on a patio, and I'm like right next to where the kitchen is, and this couple, they're on the opposite side of the patio by the door. And the girl leans in, and she goes, "Excuse me, are you from Albuquerque?" And I'm like, yeah, how did you know that? And she goes, oh, I saw your tattoo.
Oh.
And she goes, we are also from Albuquerque. Do you live here? And I said, no, I'm just here visiting. And she goes, oh, we live here. So we start talking, and there's a table in between us, and a big family comes in, and they just sit down right at that table, which is kind of interesting because there were many other tables, but whatever. And so we're kind of yelling. And then all of a sudden she goes, why don't you just come over and eat with us? And I'm like, okay. And I remember his name was Kyle. I can't remember her name, but like I go sit down, and we're like eating, and it was like this weird, like we're like a brotherhood and sisterhood of New Mexico. because we're just all of a sudden like just broing out, and talking.
That the camaraderie you would have. If somebody was from New Mexico, I'd be like, oh my god, you're from Mexico.
And they were like that. They were like, so update us on the beer scene.
Tell us news of the old country.
Yes.
Kind of
and
thing.
so I'm like we're going through and I'm telling them stories about all the beer places and how like some of them have kind of like sold out and some of them aren't as good. And then, these are then they go, let's see how real Albuquerque you are. Has your car ever been broken into or stolen? And I was like, not stolen, broken into. They stole my battery. I went 15 years until they did it. And they're like, whoa. So then they're like, yeah, we moved into this townhouse on Carlisle and Montgomery. In the first 3 weeks we were there, they stole her car. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then she had insurance. So the rental car company rents her one. And the next week someone stole that.
Oh my God.
And so,
well, it's Carlisle, Montgomery too.
Yeah. And so then they find the car.
Shout out to Fiestas.
Yes. So then she's like, and then they found the car, and I was like, ooh, you never want them to find the car.
I found my car.
Yeah. But yours, so they tell me, like, they're like, yeah, so they found the car, and they told us we had to, like, come get it. It was like 3 a.m, and if we waited till morning, they were going to charge us $75 for the tow. So he's like, so we had to haul ass out to this tow company, and the car's, like, full of, like, meth pipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They find the guy's phone and wallet, because the guy got caught. Oh, shit. And his phone and wallet are in the car. And they're like, well, here's the guy's phone and wallet. And they're like, whatever's in the car is yours.
It's your car.
Yeah, it's your car. Whatever's in the car is yours. Well, there's like the detective and everything there. And they're like, well, here's his phone. It's got all the people he sells drugs to and all that. Don't you want this? And they're like, no.
Not my department.
Yeah.
I would fuck with that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, look at these numbers, like, or call outs like, hey,
right.
this is Billy B.
Yeah.
I need a fucking brick. Soon. I need a kilo.
Don't you want to, like, I always think of like these movies where like we got a lead. No, this one's like, no. So then he's like telling me that they're about to leave, and the guy was like, whoa. Or he tells the guy, he's like, I can't drive the car like this. If I get pulled over, they're gonna, because they won't clean it out. And he's like, I can't drive the car like this. If I get pulled over, they'll think these are mine. And he goes, and they're like, no, it's fine. We have it on record. Like, okay. And I'm like, and I was like, yep, very Albuquerque. And they end up giving me a fucking ride to the venue.
That's tight.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and it was.
And so you're like, I just looking at your location, because Chris and I check each other's location.
Yeah,
you're in like,
very cute,
like southeast, like pretty much like Noma.
Yeah,
like north of Massachusetts Avenue area.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's like way out of the way, like pretty much east of the capital. Like that's the place I never went.
I don't even know, because like I'm one of those people. I mean, well, I'm from here, and so like I just like go, well, I'm Ubering and I don't pay attention to where I'm at because I don't care, because like what's gonna happen?
You were actually technically in southeast. That's the
the
gang area.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could tell it was. There was a lot of cops, and these cops were watching me. And I was like worried that they were going to be like, why are you in, because like you hear like if an area is bad enough and they see like a person that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
They'll ask you if you're there to like buy drugs and shit. And, and I was like, fuck, is that going to happen to me? Oh, my friend, hold on about the Malort shots. I'm getting there. I am getting there. Someone asked, did y'all take shots of Malort? Well, I'm getting there. So they drive me to the venue, and I go in, and at first, like, it's like downstairs, it's like it's a real legitimate pie shop. They make like, like pumpkin pie, apple pie, but they also make quiches and like shepherd's
pies.
Yeah. And then like shepherd's pie and whatever. They make pies. And the actual venue is like upstairs. I finally go, oh, it's upstairs. I go up there. The bouncer like looks at my ID and he goes, New Mexico, I bet it's hot as hell right now there. And I was like, it's been cold. It's been like in the 20s. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I live Albuquerque's in the base of the Rocky Mountains. It's like 5,500 feet above sea level.
We are higher than Denver. Nation.
Boo, Denver, boo.
Yeah, but we just don't. We're not proud about it. All right, we don't bring it up every opportunity.
I know we don't fucking name our stadiums after it. If we ever had a stadium, but so I get up in the venue, and it's like kind of like it's pretty cool. It's it's kind of launch patty a little bit if it was upstairs and had a patio, because they had a big patio, but it was so cold outside. I didn't want to stay outside.
You just idealized Launchpad.
Right.
If it was upstairs,
Romanticized it.
Romanticized.
If it had an upstairs patio, it would be the best.
And that's the thing about like these metropolitan areas. Like
Mhm.
you have like a basement, you have like a mid-level, and an upstairs.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, they're
normally
like,
the upstairs is like the living quarters.
Mhm.
Middle is the shop, the commerce.
Well,
of it.
they're all row houses.
And then the basement is
Yeah.
like that's where the orgies happen.
Yeah, that's where the magic orgies happen. So then, I start ordering Narragansett because they have it on tap, and the bartender's like, he's like, cool, and I am the oldest person there, bar none,
Okay.
easily. Anyway,
I'm
first
not,
band
I'm that way these days.
the first band is playing. They're called Friko, Friko. Awesome, loved them. Right. So in between the first and second band, I'm sitting at the bar and I'm like right next to those Smiley, you can help me out, where the waitress goes and gets her orders, where it has those bars. The server station. But what are those things called? Those big bars that loop around.
I don't know what the name is.
I don't know. Like, what
For
are they
those that
there for?
actually-
I always thought it was like a beacon for like you don't stand here and wait for drinks.
See, when people are young, they always think that's where you order the drinks.
Oh no,
It's always
fuck
just-
no.
yeah.
That's where the servers go. To
Yeah,
get,
that was
Yeah.
me. I was a dumbass.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a fun little area for me to stand
Right,
in.
right.
And
he has
I'm
a
like,
loop,
not my area.
like the big like metal like
Yeah.
noodle fucking bars. And he's like, what is that for?
It's a server station.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be there.
You're not supposed to stand there.
No. So then I'm sitting next to that, and all these guys like are crowded up at the bar right next to me, and they're getting shots poured. And I hear Malort. I hear the word Malort. And I turn and I look, and the bartender's pouring Malort. And I'm like, are you guys drinking Malort? And they're like, yeah. And I pull my shirt off and I show off my tattoo. And all of them shit the bed. They're like, holy fuck. And they're like, are you from Chicago? And I'm like, I'm from New Mexico, but I love the Cubs and I've been to Chicago. And they're like, we're all from Chicago. And it's like 9 guys. And they're like, can we take a picture? And like, I have the bartenders holding the bottle next to my arm. They're taking photos of my arm. And I was like, if you guys pour another shot, I'll buy the whole round. And they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And, so we all, and the bartender does a shot with us, which I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And
Can't do that in New Mexico.
fuck no. And so we get done and they're like, man, that was badass. Thanks. And then they go up and they go on stage. It's the band. And they're like, oh, we just did a shot.
They're all from Chicago.
They're all, hey guys, hold on a second. We just did shots of Malort. And there's like 2 guys that stay behind and they're like, dude, it's so awesome. You have that tattoo and all that. We're from Chicago. We're their friends. We all went to college together. And like, we live here now and we saw they were coming to town. And so we came here to see them. And they're like, thanks for the shot, man. And
That's like Chicago from DC is like from here to like I
It's
guess
far, yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
8 hours.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Phoenix is like 6, isn't it?
No, Phoenix is 8.
Okay.
Denver is 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Denver 6.
But it was really funny. And so then the bartender and I become friends, of course. And he's like, I'm telling him like why I'm there. I'm like, yeah, man, I do this podcast, and I give him a sticker. And I'm like, and last time I was here, I couldn't find cool places that I like. Everybody was taking me to all these like stuffy places that, except for one place. And he's like, oh, okay. And he goes over and he fucking writes a list of bars I should go to and places to eat.
That's what I wanted.
Hell
DC.
yeah.
And he goes, and I never got to do this, but this is amazing. He's like, there's a bar across the street. And this is funny that he's like, this is also a thing I don't know, we would probably do this. He's like, there's a bar across the street called the Pug. He's like, guaranteed the bartender's drunker than you are. And he's like, on their Instagram site, they have a button to click to go to their drink menu, and it takes you to a mental health website. I was like, that sounds pretty fucking amazing, actually. And he's like, it is a fucking dive. I was like, sounds right up my alley. And I meant to go there, but I didn't get to.
So James, you've been in
Yes.
this kind of like,
Mhm.
like I guess serve this level of service industry. Are you one to like recommend other bars, or even patron other bars, knowing that like I'm you, we are the same kind of thing. Like, would you go to like the place where like, yeah, you know, like I'm a bartender here, and so I would patron this other place.
Oh, I've never had any problems with that.
I'm just saying, like, you would
I don't
trade
think
off,
Smiley would give a shit. Yeah.
trade off, kind of like maybe free drinks, you know, kind of thing.
Oh man, no, but you go to bars for their atmosphere, their staff.
Oh, let's look.
I always recommend other bars whenever I've been working at. I mean, obviously.
So, like, say it's like somebody from like another bar would come in. It's like, hey, what's up, Smiley? And then we're like, house, like friends and family discount, or like even free drinks, and you would trade off, like, kind of like.
I've never really had that kind of camaraderie, but I mean, you're never gonna like diss anyone else that's in the business.
Oh yeah. But there's like industry nights, I think, like sometimes.
Sin service industry nights.
Sin? Oh
yeah.
No idea.
No, the only just corporations, just boycott corporations. Like, I work at a liquor store now, so now we're like, oh, and if you go to Total Wine, you can just go to hell then. Like, there's no leeway on that. Shop local or die.
Okay,
fair.
So I found the Pug on Yelp, and I pulled up some 1-star reviews.
Ooh, fun.
This is a 1-star review. Recently, actually. My bag was stolen, and they could not care less if they tried. I attempted to contact them and have been left in the dust.
Your fault.
Yep. This is another one. Someone from Salt Lake City, Utah. Most unprofessional, dirty place I've ever been in. Horrible drinks and service. Do not waste your time.
This is a person probably goes to like a Cheesecake Factory on the daily,
right,
or like on their birthday.
Oh man. Obligatory rating for a bar that thinks it's hard and has a less than stellar beer selection. Their website doesn't even work properly. Click on the link to see their specialty cocktails, and you get taken to cosmopolitan.com.
And it's reviews like this that be like, I have to go there. I have to.
Right?
I mean, you've read reviews of the worst pizza place in
Look
America.
on this motherfucker. I'm not reading all that, but that's fucking huge. I started a tab with the bartender, and during that time, there were charges to Uber and Starbucks. Holy fuck.
Okay, that's kind of fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Paying cash. You know what? I learned that from dive bars.
Yeah.
Paying cash.
There was a short, husky man that was very rude from the beginning. When I walked in, I asked what were the local brews served, and he said, it's on the wall. That sounds like Joe's, which has about 1 million stickers and pictures. It's really dark, so it's nearly impossible to read. He also said that it was cash only when they advertised Discover, Master, and Visa cards available for use. He looked at you and didn't like you.
Whatever's on the wall.
Whatever's on the wall.
Cash only.
Cash only. Don't pay with a card. Oh man. Wow.
I am very.
I'll go.
I will page. There's a place called the Raven in DC too, and it's cash only.
I have never seen that many ones. Go up to the little sliding bar graph there. Mm-hmm. How many 1-star? Oh my God! Look at that.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of 1-star.
It's got a lot of 4s though. That's kind of weird.
It's like, yeah, they're fucking amazing, but also this guy.
Oh, they have food? It says my friend and I chose this place for brunch. But they don't know. Okay, hold on. It says my friend I chose it place for brunch because it's listed as a place that serves brunch on the list of restaurants on H Street, but they don't serve food. Haven't served food for over a year. Ha! That's awesome.
I love this place.
Oh, short, chubby. The second time we've had, they call him Husky in the other one. This one's chubby. Short, chubby bartender is the rudest guy I've ever met. Doesn't know a thing about customer service. My boyfriend ordered a drink, and when he asked about local flavors, he pointed at an arrow and said, "Look at the arrow." The pub wasn't busy, so I don't know why he was being so rude.
Love him.
Love so
him. God, it's so about like anti like
establishment.
Yelp kind of like pretentiousness.
What do you call those people? Influencers, man.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people and go in there,
hate them.
They're gonna shit. Like, I would go in there and I would talk to that guy for probably 10 minutes, and we'd be like buddies, and he'd be buying me shots. Guarantee.
Yeah.
Guarantee. I was sad that Pop's Sea Bar went under. I was so sad about that. Something about their license is what the people were saying.
That was my place. It was like a
Mhm.
5-minute walk from my apartment.
Yeah.
Go there,
Mhm.
fucking Natty Bows.
Oh man, Natty Bo is great. I could, you know, what's weird? I look for it when I was like at Pops they had Natty Bo, but everywhere I went, they didn't have Natty Bo. Like they'd have the chalkboard with all the beers on it.
Yeah. And so they had a special, like it was all the fish that was
Uh-huh.
available that day, like the runoff fish, like
Mhm.
in the markets. And so,
Yeah.
like, okay, so this is the fish of the
Oh,
day.
People were telling me because when I first
Chum bucket.
I heard this a couple times that there's like an issue where the seafood. I mean, I guess it's worldwide. There's issues where seafood's becoming harder to come by.
It's all fraud too.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, like the people that are selling you what's gonna be like, I guess like a certain type of fish you're looking
Mhm.
for.
Mhm.
Nobody knows about fish,
Right.
other than
It's all pollock. Everyone's just giving you pollock.
exactly. So nobody knows shit about fish. It's called fish fraud. So what these I guess fishermen and like these like the dealers selling to restaurants.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, like they're giving you tilapia the entire. It's like it's gonna be like like an exotic, like fucking whatever this.
Well,
It's all-
it's like if there was like 1,000 different species of cow. They'd be
Right.
all. Do you know where this lump of cow came from? No, you
Right.
don't.
Yeah, so
We're gonna call this one.
it's called fish fraud, and what you're eating as
Really?
what you think is fish is not the fish you're eating.
Really
It's called fish fraud.
interesting. I believe it.
He's not wrong.
I'm going to tease that for the second hour because we're at the end.
Oh yeah, we
I
are.
had my first Impossible meat while I was there.
Oh, I actually want to talk about Impossible Meat,
Yeah.
and I'm going to talk about like
Stop calling it meat.
what.
Huh?
Okay.
What's that?
Stop calling it meat.
And
Yeah.
stop calling like oat milk. Call it oat beverage.
Right.
That is plant juice.
it's called you can't it's not lactating.
Yeah.
So you can't call oat or like
Using
soy
the wrong
milk.
words to describe these products.
Well, the Impossible meat that I got was something they don't sell in Albuquerque. So
Impossible protein.
Impossible protein is something they don't sell in Albuquerque. So people actually
Ooh.
hit me up because they thought I was at somewhere in Albuquerque, but I'll talk about it in the second hour. Billy, do you have anything to promote?
I have a show coming up on December 22nd. It's Tom Waits for Christmas, and I just submitted my set list. It's 3 songs.
Yeah. Smiley, what do you got going on?
Oh, absolutely nothing. I just worked on a project, but I found that I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh.
Ooh, tight.
I don't have anything going on. I do this show Mondays from 5 to 7. Maybe we'll talk about it in the second hour. We have some cool guests maybe coming on. But yeah, we're gonna take a break. Which one? This one here?
Yeah. So you're hit my SoundCloud up. It's Billy Belmont. I am out Chippagay. Just do not play that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna take a little break. We'll be back for the Wavy Hour. What are they saying? Where's the show at?
Uh-oh.
Oh, probably Billy's show. He didn't really say Launchpad. We're gonna take a break, and with that, we are
10 drink minimum.
Lay down and sleep in your cozy little bed. Don't peel the sheets. It's mighty cold. Don't be afraid. Hey, hey. On the ceiling, shadows speak, but they ain't breathing. They're deceiving you again. And I know floor creaks even when there's no one around. Oh, oh, Under control, take a feeling, keep you down. Would you wait another day to hit the ground? But ever explore again, it will be the season of angry trials. Curtain, shine spotlight on the forehead. You absorb the sweat. Tire the voices to the stigma you created, elevated in your head. And I know the flow creaks even when there's no one around. And I know the flow creaks even when there's no one around. Under control, take the feeling, keep you down. Would you wait another day to hit the ground? Never explore again. It will be the season of angry trial. Under control, take the feeling, keep you down. Did you wait another day to hit the ground? Never explore again. It will be the season of angry trial. Supposed to live without you. Hear me out, the blame is on me. Me without you makes me cry. There's no use crawling to your doorstep. I'm speaking oceans, boy, the days they could be better. Don't assume right. I'm just way high, the world's above, and I want it. Save a portion for us, what could be better? How do you do that? Take a place on, I'm back to my dream of starting. My baby's next to your skin. Chase it on. What's the name? Your face is what I see. I've got time to park at you and walk with you to the corner of Richmond. Your pocket's line to make what we loving is that I came away strong. There was no use to crawl into your skin. I was speaking of wishes, there were things they could be better. No seem like I'm just way high. The world's above, and I want it. To save a portion for us, what could be better? How do you do that? Until the place song, I'm back to my dream of starting. My days next to your skin. I'll chase it on. You hear that sound? It's the sound of you taking me back. Where I see no, that your keys fly.
I sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks.
Oh man, we are back. It is the Holly/Wavy Hour.
It is pretty wavy.
Yeah, not for me.
No, it's for me though. Like,
yeah.
I actually had a head start. I
Oh,
went
yeah.
to like a El Vado. One of the great thing is I romanticize a lot about like hotel bars,
Mm-hmm.
and with that being like, okay, so I'm going to maybe like the Hyatt
Yeah.
or the Marriott or something.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there because there's a reason why. Because like you watch TV or movies, and the hotel bars automatically where you go down, have one drink, and then hook up, and I'm watching Tulsa King. Because we started watching it, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
There's a scene where the woman goes, she goes into a hotel bar and she sits down and the bartender's like, haven't seen you in a while, the usual. And she's like, yeah, can you make it a big glass? He's like, oh, I'll find you a big gulp. And then he brings the drink over and she hands her card and he goes, nope, that guy over there paid for it. And it's the only other guy at the bar. And he's like super hot.
Oh, of course.
And I'm like, okay. So that's why.
So like
Hold on.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Hello?
There we go. Sorry.
All right.
So like as far as like hotel
Mhm.
like bar culture, it's never like a towny kind of thing. It's always like
Right.
people traveling through, kind of like being on the idea of like
Mhm.
I'm gonna meet somebody from another town,
We're fucking.
and we're fucking.
My first
Yeah.
my first bartending job was at a hotel bar.
Yeah.
Like
That-
I learned how to bartend at the Hyatt.
Was there always fucking going on?
Oh my god. Yeah. People had like room keys. Like that's
Oh.
how you like charge, like I'm gonna charge this to my room, put that woman's tab on my room.
Yeah.
And it's not that far off.
Not to stray from that, but real quick though, for my room at my hotel, my room key was on my phone, on the app. I could walk up to the door, hit the button, or I'm sorry, put it against the lock, and it would unlock the door.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? And I was like, the future.
We're in the future right
But
now, guys.
yeah, that's where fucking goes.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things where like some guy is doing like a conference, like selling his like fucking vacuums or some shit.
Selling his vacuums.
And he's like, I'm gonna go to this hotel bar
Yeah.
and I'm gonna meet this woman who's probably in pharmaceuticals. And like he's married, she's married. Everything goes.
I didn't do any of that.
Airplane staff, like pilots and stuff like that. This is like their hangout, like different like hotel bars.
When I was in San Diego, the bar we were at was like the place where I'm going to just say United Airlines pilots and staff stayed. So they got free. I'm sorry, is this in San Diego? No, this was in Las Vegas. Last time I was in Las Vegas for work, and they got 2 free beers at the bar.
Yep.
Every day. And like, so the whole time I'm saying they're like 10 days. Every time I get on the elevator, there's pilots leaving and they're like, hey man, do you drink? Here's some drink tickets. So I drank like free beers all the time. And I was like, fuck yeah. Pilots rule.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And they're good tippers.
Yeah.
Like I have to say, like
they drink too, right?
It's the best like clientele you could have.
Yeah.
Oh, good. The airline staff is here. They're just gonna like hemorrhage money on me.
Yeah.
And you definitely have to have like a personality that like accommodate to each one of these like regions of the fucking country.
Right.
It's like I'm from Ohio and this person's fucking from Alaska. Two probably conservative people. You kind of have to like, I guess, play the game to where like I'm gonna serve you as much as I am allowed to, but also like get as much money out of you tip wise.
Yeah.
And
What the best part about them is they can be anywhere. Like in a hotel bar,
Right.
by its very basic
Nature,
design, is like everyone isn't in their own places. Like you don't have to be like culturally or like geographically like
yeah, you have to be like
knowledgeable.
astute to the idea of like I don't know where I am. You don't know where you are. Let's bond in the way that like we can like get together in a way that like we're in fucking Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Hyatt.
That's the way I found out that I had an accent. It's like, oh yeah, you guys have this sick New Mexico accent. I'm like, I have a what now?
You don't have an accent, Smiley. I'm telling you.
Ask people from other parts of the country, and they'll be all, wow, you have a sick New Mexico accent.
I don't know if I do. Like, yeah,
you actually have a very you have a very Midwestern accent.
I've been told that, or I've been asked if I'm from the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, so when you travel, you know, not regularly, my hat brim is driving me nuts, but like you see these people that like you can tell they travel all the fucking time. Like that's like they're traveling, you know, constantly. And so like I started to notice, because like this, you know, I've traveled a lot like in the last couple of years. I'm starting to notice like a lot of places are catering to that. So when you go to like hotel bars, they all have the same beers.
You don't have to make decisions.
Their liquor selection is almost all identical. Like the whiskeys, the vodkas, and I don't know if this is like the distributors or whatever, but like you can go to the Marriott here, in the Marriott in San Diego, the Marriott in DC, and almost identical like beer selection, almost identical. And like you go to a restaurant or something, almost identical beer selection. It's crazy. It's like Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Dos Equis. What is that beer? The wheat beer that Coors makes?
Blue
Moon. And what the fuck? There's one more. And every place has those tap handles.
Totally.
I mean, I saw them so many times. And then you know, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Bullet, Makers, you know, you just see it over and over and over again. and people are like, well, that's what I drink. I'm like, yeah, because that's the selection of everywhere you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like this homogenized, and it's for, I don't know if it's for the traveler or if it's just because I don't think you notice it unless you are a traveler, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Because you're like, I'm sure they have in DC, you go, they have exotic beers. Nope. They got the same shit you got at home.
Actually, this is my question for you,
Yeah.
Chris.
Uh-huh.
Like, you without having an accent, I've heard your parents, I heard your
Mhm.
dad talk, heard your mom talk.
Right.
How do you not have their
I
accent?
don't know because it's very Texas,
It's very Texas.
West Texas.
West Texas.
Yeah. I don't know.
um,
That's a good question. I have had that accent.
I've
before.
had like a res accent up until like the time
So
they
it's-
told
yeah.
you that you had an accent. And so if you listen to me on the phone,
right.
you would think I am the whitest person of all time. And so the reason that is because when
Mhm.
I was joining a speech team,
Oh yeah.
they were like, listen, you have this kind of like accent that we would call like an indigenous accent.
It's
Like,
called gross. I'm just kidding.
no, it's like, so I had an accent up until they told me I had an accent.
Well, you
So
can't
what-
notice your own accent.
I know exactly. So what happened?
No.
So I guess
I guess we should. ask you-
I guess the best advice somebody
Yeah.
gave me is like just watch network television.
Yeah. That's probably where I got it.
Yeah, exactly. So like Friends, fucking Seinfeld
Oh yeah.
at the
yeah.
time. Just
Well, I don't think you should watch Seinfeld to get your accent.
oh, the thing is, like,
Billy comes in, he's like, "What? What's going on?
what is going on here? No, but the thing is, like,
Oh no!"
with that, just being only just like cognizant of like how like the speech community feels about your fucking accent.
Well, I guess we should ask the listeners, like, what accent do we come across as having?
Oh, we're not
Yeah.
New Mexican at all.
No. Well, here's the thing about
Yeah,
that.
I might.
There's no.
Yeah,
I mean, what
Smiley
is?
might be.
There is no New Mexican accent because there's like
Yeah, there is.
not a specific. No, hold on. So there's Eastern New Mexico, which is very West Texasy. There's Northern New Mexico, which is very different than Southern New
There's
Mexico.
Southern New Mexican,
Yeah.
and like there's at Northern and
Yeah.
Southern, as far as like
Couldn't be two different places.
totally like
Yeah.
different countries. You know, like New Mexico is the size of fucking like
Yeah.
4 different countries
Right.
in the EU. You know,
Well, but like, and when you say there's a New Mexican, I mean, there's that Northern, that Norteño, that like Savan, 11, you know, they say shit like that, like, you know, and then there's
you're lying.
no, don't lie, nah, yeah.
Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm
Which
talking-
one are you talking? See, that's the thing.
Okay, but I only learned about this from bartending at a hotel bar. People would come in and like, oh, you guys have like the weirdest accent here, and I'm like, accent? What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, you speak really quickly at the beginning of your,
Oh.
and then you slow down, and then
I
you
get that,
stop
yeah, yeah.
everything, and
Ah,
right at
okay.
the end
yeah,
you
yeah,
stop.
yeah. Okay.
I get
I was
that. I
like-
get that.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that is an accent.
Oh. Okay.
Whereas like the accent I have now is like,
Yee.
basically like a
We clip our words. is
Ah.
what I've
it's,
been
it's
told.
it's a very like modern.
Okay.
I guess the Midwestern is no accent for
Oh.
us, you know.
Midwestern's not an accent for us.
No, I'm saying like
Oh.
okay, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say I talk like a Nebraskan.
I don't know
you
I don't know what that sounds like.
I
It
lived in
sounds like
Nebraska.
no accent. It's like
Yeah.
homogenized in the way that we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we say words like this, and we say like and a munch. You
No,
know,
well,
Yeah.
no, actually, like more in Nebraska's, they say like toil instead of tool, and
Oh.
I,
I've never
I-
been there, so I don't know. Yeah.
it's very like.
I think you were saying Midwest. I was like, you sound Wisconsin.
No, like
and
I don't
yeah.
know. I'm saying like Midwest, like
Minnesota?
Wisconsin. You know, like
Wisconsin?
that kind of accent. You know,
Mhm.
like it's like the top of your mouth. You know,
Don't you know?
but like for us, like it seems like it's basically on, I guess, media alone
Mm-hmm.
that we grew up on these kind of like I don't know how,
And I'm
how-
sure Wisconsin, like everywhere, doesn't sound like that. I'm sure there's
Oh,
different
yeah, yeah.
areas that are worse than others. But yeah, how about a hot dish?
hot dish. You imagine.
Mm.
And so, the thing is, like,
Yeah.
when I was in Wisconsin, like my ex-wife was from the Midwest. I'm sorry, Wisconsin. And like using the word yet is something that I have not privy on. So
Yeah.
they everything like yet. It's like yet. Or like here, like we would say, I guess California they would say like. A
Oh
bunch.
man, I never, like you'd always hear, you see it on TV or whatever, that California, like they made fun of it on SNL, and I had never heard a human being like that until I was flying back from San Diego, and it was like fucking 8 a.m, and this guy, he was like a contractor, like blue collar guy, and he was like, "Yo, man, yo, bro, I didn't like that drink. It kind of sucked, man." And I was like, I fucking looked over. First of all, I was like blown away that he like told the bartender that the drink sucked. He's like, "Come on, bro, you know what I like, man." And I was like, "You really talk like that? That's fucking
it's like,
crazy."
It's like a draw.
Yeah. Oh my god, bro, that
it's-
kind of sucked.
But like,
Yeah.
if you listen to like pretty much Southwestern, even California, like West Coast, we use like so many times.
Yeah.
You can count like. If there was a counter,
is a big one.
yeah, or like. That's the thing.
I learned how to punctuate it correctly because I use it so often.
And I used like a bunch. I didn't realize it until I listened to one of our podcasts.
Mhm.
And I say like so many fucking times, like a teenage like California girl, pretty much.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's awesome.
I mean, if it's
if it gets the point across,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
if it like gets the point across.
If it like does this and like what happens here and it like it's listen to the word like to like influencers now
Mhm.
and it's prevalent in every single one of them.
Well, that's probably why you do it. You watch a lot of TikTok. You watch.
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of stuff.
So
you
there's
probably-
no youth culture
Yeah.
anymore.
You probably pick it up. You
you
know?
just pointed out to me that I say man a lot.
Man,
Oh.
Like, hey man.
Yeah.
is a
Is a big one. Yeah.
and it's like going on a tangent talking about something and you need like a little pause to like
Mhm.
get your thoughts together, so it's always
Used to, you didn't do that. Your big thing was but.
yes,
You would hit a hard but. You'd be like blah 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 blah, but, and you'd pop it, and it always drove me crazy. And I don't know how you got rid of that. But
You'd be
Yeah.
like blowing out the mic every time.
yeah, but you don't do it anymore.
Hard
I don't know.
B.
It's weird.
I don't know,
You haven't done it in a long
You
time.
kind of get out of those cycles.
Yeah.
And I would say definitely like is one of my downfalls because I say like all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Like all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to, I feel like once you become aware, you either can still do it or not.
I was aware of
Yeah.
it, and I was definitely. If you go back to say like 2015 podcast,
the salad days.
the salad days, I'm just saying like every 2 seconds.
I want somebody to like who listens to the show a lot go, how come anytime they say like a date, he always says the salad days? Because I do. Like it doesn't matter. I don't know what happened in 2015. I just fucking was like, I just like to go, the salad days.
You know what? I can actually tell you. I said like again. I can tell you when I got on the show
Yeah.
because it was 2011, I think.
Oh man, those were the times.
Yeah. And I would drive down from the Heights to go down to the
Old Town.
New York Avenue.
New York Avenue.
And yeah, and it's like, hey, so Billy, you want to be on my show? It's like, I'll be there fucking Tuesdays. There was Tuesdays.
Right. We had to move them because of you. I remember we moved them
I
to
know.
Sundays.
Yeah. I got a DWI back in 2012.
I didn't want to bring up bullshit.
Oh no, it's fine.
I'm just kidding. I'll bring it up.
Don't
It's
drink.
New Mexico.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, someone brought that up. Somebody brought that up. I was like, I'm from New Mexico. And they're like, you guys have a lot of DWIs, don't you? And I was like, well, not really anymore. I mean, I don't know. It's not a thing anymore as big as it was.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
not
will
like-
not drink and drive anymore.
It's not like it used to be.
No. I mean, Smiley hasn't gotten one in a long time.
Yeah, I've officially never had one.
Oh, that's true.
Lawyers.
Legally, I've never had one.
I thought you were going to say
mean-
liars.
I mean, I've been pulled over and arrested for a lot of them, but
Oh, cool. We just got spammed from Twitch.
Oh,
oh,
nice.
hey, Twitch people are sometimes cool.
No, this is like a bot.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to offer a promotion.
Sorry, robot.
No, sorry, bot. So yeah, let me talk about this for a second. So I never had Impossible Protein before. I've never had a hamburger, Impossible Burger. I've never had any of that, right? Not that I don't want to. I just haven't. So we're in DC, we're in the district, and my coworker that's there with me is vegan. And so, we kind of had to tailor everything where, and he wasn't like demanding of it. He just,
No, it's one of
wanna
those
be
things like
nice.
I if we're gonna notice this, I can't eat.
yeah.
But I feel bad, so
Yeah.
let's go someplace you can eat. you
I'm
know?
all you can't eat, huh? Well, why don't you wrangle a vegetable somewhere?
I am not one to be a person
No.
to like be like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I would definitely accommodate to
Yeah.
somebody.
So one of the nights I was like, he was like, I want to go to this place that has fried Impossible chicken sandwiches,
Yeah, plant-based meat,
plant-based meat.
proteins.
But it was like a buffalo chicken sandwich that's not meat, right? So I'm like, okay, I like buffalo chicken sandwiches, and I'm like, I'm intrigued. So we go to this place called Hip City Chicken, and very influencer, like, they lot of
So it's not buffalo and it's not chicken.
right. But like lots of like, Ashley's and Brittany's in there. Like this girl came in and she's like, I have an order for Ashley. And they're like, we don't have one. And she's like, because I picked the wrong one. Can you just make the order here? And the guy's like, well, you have to pay for it again. And she's like, ugh. And then she's like, fine. And so she like repays. But like,
and I hate that it's a culture for
Yeah.
like this like elitist kind of person.
elitist kind of person.
Yeah, I hate it. I would like somebody's like, I just don't want to fucking eat meat anymore.
Right.
And this the cheapest and the most delicious place.
Oh, it wasn't cheap.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get the buffalo chicken sandwich, and they let me do ranch instead of the blue cheese. Thank God. And then it came with it's funny because it came with sweet potato fries, and I was like, I wonder what they made the sweet potato fries out of. And the guy was all sweet potatoes. I was like, oh, just making fun of it. And so the crazy thing is like when you take a bite out of it, it looks like chicken.
Of course,
Pretty close.
It doesn't have to look that way.
No.
But they make it.
Like chicken.
They
No,
make it to look that
They
way.
made it to look that way. So, but people
you
are
can
like,
deep fry some paper mache and make it look like chicken.
right. But somebody was like, it's going to be the best chicken sandwich you ever had. And I was like, well, first of all, it's not because it's not a chicken sandwich. But I will say this. It was good. Was it better than like a Stripes chicken sandwich? Fuck no. Fuck no. But if I'm in DC and someone's like, let's go here, would I get it again? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you deep fried it. Like Smiley says, you deep fried something.
Oh yeah, it's like just that initial frying, saturated fats with definitely like a protein that you think is gonna satisfy your like meat eating hunger. But I'll tell you right now,
Mhm.
I had in college. This is we're talking like 20 years ago. There was like meat like meatless ground meat.
Oh, Boca Burger.
Boca was a big thing.
Yeah.
And like Morningstar. And so like we would definitely
Lucifer,
like
yes.
and so I
Son of the
had
monster.
I had a vegan diet for like maybe like a year and a half.
I don't know how that happened. How in the earth did that happen?
So it's twice. I had twice 2 vegan diets. So we were like, oh god, like we're gonna make this chili with this Boca like meat.
Eating other animals makes you stronger, right?
I get it,
I'm
but
taking their soul, Smiley says.
But I'm telling you, if you can trick somebody into thinking it's meat, that's the biggest, like, I guess
The greatest trick the vegetable industry ever pulled.
exactly.
Was
So- and you can do it with chili, you can do it with soups. It's like, oh, that's great. Like,
Yeah.
like they're like meteors. Like, oh,
So when people ate the chili, they thought it was meat.
they thought it was meat.
Really?
Exactly.
Because I had a Boca Burger, and that doesn't taste nothing like
Not
meat.
a burger, like not concentrated
Yeah.
like that. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
if you put it like with like a soup, like fucking chili, they won't tell the
Oh,
difference.
yeah, because you're just looking for that meat texture. Like
So
it
that-
doesn't really. You want the mouth feel from
Yeah.
it more than
Well,
anything
and then
else.
I noticed that this place also had hot dogs. Which all
The
right.
hot dogs are the worst.
Well, here's my issue. If you're a person that eats hot dogs, I feel like you are already prone to know that you are digesting the worst fucking possible amounts of meat you could possibly die. You know, it's not made out of like the high, like, you know, the best
Yeah.
cuts of the animal.
It's like
So, like, why do you have to make an impossible hot dog?
so. Actually, you're actually eating like a 1% rats.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I'm sure.
because when they churn this thing out, like rats would be attracted.
Sure.
So when the customs would come, or like the authority would come in, it's like, well, it has to be like a
Right.
certain percentage of
Well,
like
like
pork-
cereal.
Yeah.
Cereal is a certain percentage
And
of like
less than
insects.
1% rat meat.
yeah,
Right.
it has to be like
Okay.
1% rat meat.
All right, Smiley, I got to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Because Billy already knows. They have fucking huge ass fucking rats everywhere. I
Except for here.
No, in DC.
Oh yeah.
Like you're just
Oh,
walking
yeah,
down
you
the
were telling me.
Cat size.
so
That's not cool.
okay. So when you go over to look at the what's that monument? The Washington Monument.
Lincoln.
No, Washington Monument, the big motherfucking penis. motherfucking- So this is what kind of blows my mind. Right near the Washington Monument, they have a little building where like the security is during the day, and it has 2 bathrooms on the side. And like we go over there because I have to pee really bad, but it's like at 8:00 at night.
So that's security to keep the rats away?
No, they don't keep them away. So we go over there, and I mean these bathrooms are quite possibly the worst bathrooms I've ever been privy to. The smell,
Really?
the smell. Well, yeah, no, they're just open
Oh yeah.
for whoever, and the smell like punches you in the face when you get near the building. Not walking in the bathroom.
I have been in one with those bathrooms.
Not
yes.
not walking in the bathroom. I'm talking when you get close to the building. It fucking punches you in the face like, oh man, check out this pop. like you're like, oh God. Oh. And so I get over there by it. I have to go use the bathroom. And then there's a fucking rat runs over and jumps right down in a hole. And like there's a nice piece of grass and you can see like everything. And then all of a sudden you just see a rat sized hole where it dove down into. And they're just all over the place. You just run, like, I probably saw about 8 while I'm walking on the streets there last week. And people are like, so what? I'm like, say what you will about Albuquerque. You don't just see fucking rats running down the streets.
No, the fucking roadrunners would kill them.
You might get,
Yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Like predators. Like, oh god, they would thrive.
I
there.
don't know. The rats are huge.
They're huge.
big.
I've seen cat-sized ones.
Yeah.
I've seen
He's not kidding, man. It is. And people are just like,
Well,
they're
my
like,
cat knows to stay away from roadrunners. They will
Yeah.
fuck anything up.
So I lived in
They kill other
I lived in
birds,
Glover
snakes.
Park with
Yeah.
next to Georgetown. So that there is like Georgetown. So you think there's going to be the Whole Foods.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be like a fucking Trader Joe's, which I worked at. So that the
okay.
the Whole Foods that was just maybe a block away closed down because there was a rat problem.
Oh my God. The city has.
I'm
a rat problem.
imagining like the rats
Yeah.
like rising up and like taking over the store.
Yeah.
We had a rat
You'd
problem.
see them all
here.
the time. You'd see
Well,
like
yeah.
cat size, like
Cat size.
huge.
Big.
They're
motherfuckers.
unionizing. They want benefits now.
The last time
We
I
have
was
to
there,
close down the store.
we're walking down the sidewalk. A rat runs out in front of us and is like running down the sidewalk in front of us, like oblivious, like he doesn't give a shit that we're, he's like, whatever, fuck you. I'm eating garbage. Fuck you. And I'm just like, ugh.
And just the amount of waste DC produces.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure, yeah.
It's like you imagine like what's that fucking movie? Charlotte's Web.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
Where
when the rat is at
the rats.
state fair.
That's
There's a whole song, and he's
It's-
like, "It's
yeah.
a smorgasbord," or something. I don't know.
that's
Something.
DC. Like
Yeah.
these rats they have no
Oh,
natural
man,
predators.
Fuck no.
Other than somebody who's like trying to kick somebody. Like,
Somebody's poodle.
Yeah.
A lot of poodles. A lot of pets. I always feel like that. Like I don't know how to feel as a pet owner, right? Like you go there and you know all these people don't live in, they don't have a yard. They all live in like an apartment or something, and they'll have the biggest fucking dog out walking. There's people walking dogs every fucking where, which I love dogs, but it's great. But I always got to think about it. It's like, man, that is just part of your life. Like how much dog walking you have to do. It's just a thing because there's no, you don't have a, you have a yard.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no yard.
And it's important to pick up your dog's poop because there's a thing called a watershed.
Ew.
So what happens, like, as far as level we are in perspective to like everywhere else, rain's gonna happen,
Right.
and so like everything as far as we are up goes into a fucking like river.
Well, I'm thinking about freaking if you're in DC, you're already at swampland level.
Oh,
All
yeah.
that shit's not going anywhere.
Sea
It's just
level.
gonna sit there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some areas you'll walk by and you're like, ooh,
If
like
we're
the
talking
sewage,
about watersheds,
it reeks. It's pretty rough.
it's just gonna
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
there. That's why swampland
Well,
is.
and
fetid
then you're just
disgusting.
you're like walking on the street and it's like out of movies. There's like just steam coming out of the fucking manhole, and they're
It's
like,
like Teenage
whoa.
Mutant
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I'm like I've never seen that except for
Secret
movies.
of the Ooze.
Yeah, right. You know, my favorite place though, so far, is this last trip. I was like, I want to go to a Smithsonian, and I did too, because there's 17 Smithsonian museums, 17 of them. So
I did not know that.
I'm like, so Friday I get off work and you have to go. They close at like 5:30. So if you work during the day, you're not gonna. It
you're not
fucking
going.
sucks. So I got a couple hours where I could go over there. So I get a ride. Well, the city blocks are huge where those museums are, because the museums are fucking massive, right? This fucking Uber driver drops me off across the street in the middle of the block. So and it's heavy traffic. So I can't. I'm like, oh, thanks, dickhead. So I can't, I have to walk all the way down to a crosswalk, then come all the way back up to the museum. And there's several like food trucks out in front of the museum. So I think you know the area I'm talking about.
I know
All this,
exactly where you're talking about.
So I go up and I'm like, you know what? I'm hungry and I'm going to walk through this museum for a couple hours. I'm going to get a couple hot dogs. So I go up to the food truck and it's like these two Asian guys, and they didn't really speak a lot of English, but they did well enough. And this woman comes up next to me and she's trying to order a Sprite and like a Coke, and they don't understand her saying Sprite. And this guy comes up behind. He's all, they said Sprite. Don't you understand what the fuck she said? And like, I'm like, God damn, this guy came in hot. And all of a sudden he looks at me and he looks at the lady, and the lady's like, she's like in her like 60s or 70s. And he's all, how y'all doing? He's all, y'all a couple? And I was like, I looked at him. I was like, no, we're not. And he's like, and he's trying to like, he thinks I'm going to be scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's trying to like fuck with me and then probably ask me for money or whatever. And he leans in, he's like, I'm fucking with you. And I turn and I go, absolutely, I know that. It's cool. I'm cool with it. And I just like come right back at him hard. And then he all of a sudden he like backs off and he's like, all right, y'all have a do. And he gets on his bike and rides off.
Yeah.
And it was like,
And the thing is, I know exactly where that like line is of food trucks, but also if you go on to like, I guess Massachusetts, there's like those Trump I guess satellite shops where you see like Trump flags. Okay,
that's all gone.
There were so many.
No,
like
that's not there now.
every other block. There was like flags. And
all gone now. So I go into the Smithsonian and I go to the Museum of American History. Guess what the first thing I saw of Smiley was?
Was it a Confederate flag?
Nope.
Was it a
you already know.
I know, but I was just like, you walk in and it's like, oh, is it Elvis?
No. It was a lowrider from Espanola, New Mexico.
What the fuck?
As soon as I walk in, first thing I see, and I'm like giddy. I'm like, oh whoa. And so I guess the theme right now is Latino culture. So they got this, and I'm talking to the lady. I was like, yeah, that's from my home state. I'm from New Mexico. And she goes, right? I thought it was odd though. It wasn't from like California. And I was like, what? And she goes, that's where all the lowriders are. I was like, Espanola, where that car's from, that's the lowrider capital of the world.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was like, you'll see lowrider everywhere. And she was like, I never knew that. I was like, oh yeah. And then at one point,
it was a California. I think as I heard about this, it's a California like inspiration, and all these Californians moved to like Espanola.
Wow,
kind of thing.
I thought you meant the car was. I was like, no, it's that straight up Espanola car.
Yeah.
But like also, so like later on in the museum, there was the mariachi's uniform from the Isotopes.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw a foam finger because they were showing Latinos in baseball. And I was like, that's cool. So then we go to the one of the art museums, and sure shit, there's a I'm like walking this room and I'm like, I mean, this is like a museum where like in one wing of it, it's just all portraits of people throughout history, like just portrait paintings. And like I was like, I don't really want to look at portrait paintings of people. I don't give a shit about seeing somebody sitting in a chair and they painted them. And so we go to this other wing, and there's one of the most beautiful paintings I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even know if I could describe it, but like then we walk into this area and I look, I like just beeline immediately to it, and it's a photograph of two Vata women, and I'm like, oh, and I walk right over, and it's all these two twins from Berlin,
like chola,
Fucking-
like
fucking
eyebrows, like,
tattoos right by the
like
eye.
the winged eyebrows,
yeah.
like
And I'm just like, what in the fuck is going on here? And but the fucking Museum of American History is amazing.
Funny thing about like I guess like Latino culture is Tommy Lasorda was a Duke's manager before he was Dodger.
Yeah.
Manager.
I saw, so they did I was at an Isotopes game and it was Duke's Day and he was there. And
Tommy Lasorda?
Yeah. And they brought him out and he spoke and he's like, when I managed here, you could drop a bomb downtown and not hit anything. It was like, that's pretty funny. But that Museum of Natural History is fucking amazing. They had a whole wing that was like so you can tell like this museum is huge, but you can tell they have like a big warehouse somewhere just full of stuff. And then they do theme, like everything is like themed. Like they had Julia Childs, they had a replica kitchen of hers and you could walk through it. Her kitchen.
God. Okay.
That sounds amazing.
It was amazing. So then they had this whole area that was called America on the Move. And it was like all about transportation and the history of the United States, except for aviation, because they have their own air and space museum.
I know.
So it was all like cars, boats, trains, everything. So they had full-size steam locomotives in there. Full size. Like you're like dwarfed next to it. Like, right. There was a whole area that was from the a rail car from the 1950s Chicago CTA, like one of the trains, like, you know, the people, commuter trains. They had it in there. You could walk in it, sit down, and then they had an LED. They changed the far wall to LED, and they filmed people like going in and out of it, like in like 50s clothing, like they would back in the day. But you sit and watch this while you're in the train car. And I was like, that is amazing.
Like you're actually on the train.
Yeah. And then they had they found, so they're during the Revolutionary War when we're fighting the British sunk this like privateer boat, and in the 60s they found it, the wreckage underwater. They brought it up
like on the coast of like fucking Virginia or something.
Yeah. And the entire boat is in the fucking museum intact. And
Like
it has the hole where the cannonball hit, and they have a little cannonball right there. And I guess they found the cannonball in it, and it had the king's like stamp on it. And I was like, that's fucking dope. And it had its cannon still and everything. It is fucking
you by
huge.
the King of England.
Yeah, dude, this massive little privateer boat in the fucking museum, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
would say like the RV they use in Breaking Bad is in the Smithsonian somewhere.
It's
too.
not now. But like that's what I'm saying. Like they move things in and out. They're
Does it
constantly
travel?
Yeah, they're constantly. No, they tore the original one. They just crushed it. But like, so say like Tony Hawk's original skateboard, they have it.
Really? That's tight.
It's not out though. And like I even looked it up, and like they're like not presented right now. So they move things in and out constantly.
So
it always changes.
So they're gonna actually have the
Mhm.
first computer mic from Tendrick Minimum.
That'd be fucking dope. They did have like, there was a whole computer area, and I kind of nerded out a little bit. They had an Altair and they had a Trash 80, all kinds of shit. But then the other thing that was kind of crazy is, you know, like the Titanic era where people, like if you wanted to go to Europe, you had to get on an ocean liner. There was no planes, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So then like they had this whole area in the museum that was a replica of one of the ocean liners that you could walk in and like look down into like different parts of the boat. And I was like, dude, that's fucking dope as shit.
God, that's
Crazy.
I guess I'm too native
Mhm.
to realize that this stuff.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of areas on
I know,
indigenous
I
culture.
know. But I'm telling you, like, as far as Smiley and I
Mhm.
go, it's like, oh, that's dead people. You don't
Oh,
want,
yeah.
you don't want,
Well,
just forget about it. You
So
know?
there was a hall of presidents, and I walk in, and it's like immediately they had a
Also, as natives, not our favorite people.
oh sure, of course
Yeah.
not. But like you walk in, and there's like a thing on TV. They have a TV on the wall, and it's Bill Clinton, Gerald Ford, and Jimmy Carter, and they were interviewing them, and they were like, "So, what was
Okay,
your?"
they're cool. Never mind.
They were like, "What was your favorite thing about being the president?" And they're like, "Oh," and and Jimmy Carter's like, "Well, it was or Bill Clinton was like, it was the work." He's like, "There was never a day that I was so excited to go to work." And and you're like, "Oh wow!" And then they're like, "What was the worst thing you ever had to deal with?" And they all went through it, and I sat there and watched it forever. But then you walk through this thing. They had
It was the Iran Contra, like
Right.
Iran.
what was Clinton? I can't remember. Well, anyway,
He was
there was an area where they had regalia from Lincoln's funeral parade. They had it in a
Oh,
case, like
creepy.
like the stuff that they put on him and that the people wore to like parade him down through DC. And
Was it
then-
like gold medallions or?
it was like very velvety stuff, like dark purple and all that. Then there was a whole
They dressed them
area
like Prince.
that was
Awesome.
all the first ladies, and they had all these gowns that they had worn throughout history, and they had them, and like they were
Really?
it was nuts. Like they had Grover Cleveland's jacket.
designer.
That dude
kind of
was fucking huge. He was a big dude.
like talking big dude as in like tall, or big dude
Oh,
as like
wide.
he was like
He
wide,
was wide. Like I could put it on,
like
and-
Wreck-It Ralph.
yeah, like almost like I could put the left arm on and you could put the right arm on, and we could be in a jacket.
Staunch.
Oh, wow.
Staunch man.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, he was a fat, big dude, man. Like, let's look at this guy. Because like it was, man, I was kind of just like,
that would be like a good like educational exercise. Like here was
Yeah.
like the size of
Oop.
Grover Cleveland,
right.
and put like a blazer on. It's like, oh, I'm so small.
You could just like put
He
like
doesn't look like a big fat guy.
you can put like 5 orphans inside of his suit.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this motherfucker big. Because you always think like people back in the day were little, they always talk about that. Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were tiny people.
I do
Oh,
believe
That's like Roman times, though.
Yeah.
That's not like 60 years ago. People were the same fucking size.
Right. Well, I don't know. No, you go to northern New Mexico and you, like walk into an old house from that time period. I'm tall, and it's like like my head scratches on the top of the roof. You're like, ah.
No, that's those were made like 100
Yeah.
years ago.
No, that's
though.
true. So the other thing too is like there was a whole area that was about the history of like elections, and so then they had a big area that was all the different political parties that we've had in our country. Well, one of them was the Ku Klux Klan, so they had their Klan outfits.
and they were Democrats back then.
Yeah, right.
It's
Southern
so,
Democrats,
like Dixiecrats.
Dixiecrats. And so like seeing the Ku Klux Klan robe was kind of rough, but I was like, I mean, it's part of history.
Well, it was just
it's
it
different.
was,
Is-
it was
is-
a way
is
of
it-
life. And
Yeah.
the thing
That's
is,
new to you, and I appreciate that. Like,
it's not, but
okay. Well, I mean, it's new to anyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like.
well, I
there's
mean,
a reason-
oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
like I
it
grew
is.
up in the South.
Like
and,
I didn't grow up around the Klan. No.
the Klan's like a real thing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and like having it in a museum, people are like, oh, it might be offensive, but it's true.
Klan is still the thing. The thing is, I worked at Hobby Lobby for a long time, and so the white, I guess, employees, the Klan would come in. It's like, hey, listen, so we're kind of white, and you should probably join our group. And so, like, they were my coworkers. Like, the Klan just came in and tried to recruit me. They're in New Mexico. It's a weird thing, but also like we're going to this show, and it's fucking tight, and it's anti-capitalist, and we're fucking tight as hell. I'm on the same note where the Klan is trying to recruit my white coworkers. I'm there being cool enough to where like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Remember, there's monsters everywhere.
Right. Well, the thing that kind of tripped me out too was like there was this area of the voting history, and it was like weird products that like they made during whatever era, you know.
Mhm.
Like for example, Kennedy, there was like a little wooden Kennedy head, and then it had a cork on the bottom so you could put it on a wine bottle. And then and then another one was a pair of flip-flops, and they were John Kerry flip-flops. Because they're like, he's a flip-flopper, you know.
Oh my god.
So they had them on their like little, you know, little stupid, like usually it was like one party was making them. And I was like, and there was all throughout history, you know, and it'd be like, you know, basically like whatever the opposing party you were trying to push, whatever message, you'd make a product.
Oh yeah, it's like propaganda.
Propaganda. And I'm like, that just never, because like I don't even know. I mean, that still happens. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think like what happened.
I would love to go to a museum that was dedicated to political propaganda.
Oh, there was. I mean, they had a bunch in there.
Because the wackiness that happens and the things that they produce from it is.
Well,
I mean, it is wacky.
It's wacky, and like you look at it from a, you know, and that's the thing. What we don't really think about is that that's what's going to happen to us, and it already has happened to us. You look at stuff from the 80s, like, you know, when, you know, Reagan and Mondale, you know, the where's the beef stupid ad shit, you know, people look back at history and they just kind of laugh and go, well, that was a stupid shit. And that's, you know, that's what we have to look at it. You know, we're all just blips in the history of it.
Yeah, we can really hope that Reagan and Mondale was a stupid thing, but I think we're still like living through it.
Oh, absolutely, goddamn. I'm just talking about the propaganda part of it. Like we were like, that was stupid. You know what I mean? Like that whole like, you know, where's the beef? And Mondale held the two buns. I mean, you may or may not, but
no, I was just on the verge of my social consciousness.
Okay, so then the thing that really sucked is like, I only had 2 hours to be in there, and I could have easily been in there like probably six to 8 hours.
No, it sounds amazing.
So I saw everything I could, and I probably went. Let me recant that. I went through the entire museum, but because I had to go through so quickly, I probably saw about 30% of it.
Why'd you have to go so quickly then?
Because they close at 5:30.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, okay. It closes quick. So I was just like, I'm going to see as much as, you know, I'm going to go all the way through this and like stop on things I really want to focus on.
Like 2 hours is the bare minimum you can go into a good like museum.
Well, because like they had a whole area, so the whole ship part of it was fucking humongous, and it was all the different history of ships in the United States. Well, of course, it got into the slave ships, and it would have they had a whole like on the wall diorama of a slave ship, and they'd have the cutout, and it would show like, you know, how the ship was sectioned off. Mm-hmm. Then they had like real like shackles. They had shackles that were like there, like, you know, so there was like just whole parts of it. Like they had a whole whaling part of it. It was insane. And I'm like, I just can't sit here. And there was a whole area that was the history of safety measures in boating. Like just that like, wow, you know? But it's fucking interesting because you're like, wow, look at all the different life rafts. There's area there.
It's like OSHA would come in. It's like, this is bad shipping.
There was an area there that was the history of everyday products in your house. And I mean, they had so many different kinds of toasters.
A plumbus.
I saw probably 15 different kinds of toasters. Like just throughout history, like just different ways they toasted bread. Vacuum cleaners. And then like you got into this area where it was like industrial machines from like the early 1900s, and it was the fucking real machines. And there was one that was,
what's that like? Was it all like iron, just like,
oh fuck yeah, big leather belts going from pulley to pulley. There was this one, the steam engine.
It's like a display of modern convenience.
Yes,
yeah.
Well, and they had this steam engine in there that was 2 stories tall. And fuck, man, it was a good 50 feet long. I mean, it was massive. And I'm just like thinking of like people getting caught up in it, like, you know, like just industrial revolution crazy.
Steam is the biggest thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
To this fucking
all industrial revolution stuff.
Industrial.
So you walk through this and like I'm just having to like hustle through it because this place is so massive.
I would say like 50. Smiley, you're gonna correct me. I would say like 50% of this fucking modern energy is built on steam.
Oh yeah.
Whether like coal, whether like
Well, steam was the original, probably. Yeah.
I think it's still that way. Like it's like all of it's steam.
Well, cold bursts with steam, and you're
Yeah.
just boiling water.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then like I'm like, well, I'm gonna go down to the gift shop. I'm gonna buy a gift for my girlfriend. So I get in the gift shop. What did I tell you the theme was?
It was the Constitution.
No. What did I tell you the theme was?
American history.
No. What was
What?
the first thing I saw when I walked in?
Oh, the fucking Chola, like
Mhm.
New Mexico
Latin culture.
Latin culture.
Like,
So I
also
walk
thought it was
in.
American history. All right.
I walk into the gift shop. Dia de los Muertos, everything.
Of course.
the little like, what is that pastry that has like the little lines and God dang it.
Empanada?
No, you'll know when as soon as I say it.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's
I don't know
called.
the name of it. Yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
and they would have that for like your keep that.
The delicious.
That.
Yes.
They'd have like keychains with puffy these on it.
What is that
And-
called?
That's a Puebla fucking bread.
Is it?
It's a Pueblo bread.
pan dolce.
Yeah, is that yeah.
Sweet bread. And I'm like, if I wanted that, I would just fucking go to Old Town, And so I had to like half of the gift shop was that stuff,
You're all things from my homeland.
and then like books about southwestern New Mexico, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
You're
So
all. By the way,
they did have-
That's not how you spell that.
then, right? They did have a Lego White House, and I was like, that's kind of fucking dope.
So
Ooh, what scale?
oh my god.
It was probably about like
I'm telling you right now that like anything done with Lego
Yeah.
is more like canon
Yeah.
to like reality and just like the entire history of, but they do that in fucking Minecraft.
yeah.
So
They build buildings and
Yeah.
they built the Enterprise.
in virtual world. So that's going to be a thing. I'm telling you right now, like 20 years from now,
Mhm.
like that's going to be the thing.
Oh, it's already starting, man. Someone built in the thing I have, you can download The Office and walk through The Office, like Dunder Mifflin.
In Minecraft?
No, in on the I have the Meta Quest.
Oh yeah, totally.
you can walk. Someone built.
Oh, yeah, Billy, where are you at?
Yeah,
You
That's mine,
where's
got
your,
too.
where's
Yeah.
your headset?
right. We're already jacked in, Billy. I'm just kidding.
You guys, you both have
Yeah.
fucking Oculuses,
So
right?
so does Marty.
Yeah,
so
I
does
mean-
Josh. You're the only one that does it.
I don't. Like, I'm not going to tune in.
You don't
Yeah.
just like hang out and like VR
No, I'm not going to do
yeah.
that.
VR some like mini golf.
I mean, we're gonna get legs soon.
Like I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put like this Oculus
Really?
thing in us
Yeah.
and like have sex with a massive babe,
Mm.
and it turns out it's like gonna be my coworker.
VR porn's pretty dope, dude.
Okay, that's where you went with that. Not like I want to play mini golf. With
No,
my
I'm
friends.
telling you right now,
It's all about sex.
it's all about. I'm telling you the innovation that's going on with these-
Porno.
These virtual like realities. It's
Mhm.
all gonna be porn.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
pornography drives.
It's all innovation.
industry.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. Yeah, sex. Yeah, because I remember watching like this video, and it was like I don't real sex or some shit, right? And
Real sex on HBO.
yeah, back when they had that.
The more porn that is in VR will make my mini golf experience that much better.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Well, they had this.
They're gonna
They had
push
this.
all the boundaries so that I can like very mundanely be all.
Yeah.
God damn it! I chipped it.
Well, they had this. They had this device that the guy put on his dick, and then they had the woman. She had like what looked like a like a vibrator, but it was all connected. And so when she rubbed the vibrator, it would move the things on him, and that was like the beginnings of them testing out like virtual sex. For, like if say from afar, like your girlfriend's like on travel, and you don't want her to fuck somebody down in the hotel bar. You fuck
So
on
was
the
this? You're talking about Real Sex, the HBO series?
yeah.
Like
Or one of those shows, something.
1996.
I don't know. It may not have been real. It was something like that though.
I will tell you one thing about
But it's a thing.
fucking about I guess sex educational programming on HBO.
Yeah.
It's not available.
Oh, it's
now.
all gone. Yeah, it's all
all
gone.
gone.
Billy pointed that out to me because he was probably trying to, find some, which I hadn't watched so long. Like
Taxi
no,
Cab
sh-
Confessions.
gone,
Cat House
gone,
gone.
real sex,
Real
gone.
Sex gone.
But see, real sex was always like,
Okay, do you? I've. This is a real question here.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think those are gone because they sold them?
no, they shut. We pulled up the article and looked it up. They just didn't want to be known for that because like they merged with
So they
'cause-
they consciously
Yeah.
buried their
Yes.
own material.
yes.
That content is gone
Yeah.
forever.
Well, I don't
That
know if it's not
sounds-
gone, but it's not it's not available.
Yeah.
They have it.
So HBO After Dark was a big
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
So you have like
Well, didn't they merge
Tex-
with
Texicat?
Cinemax?
Yeah, and they mixed. Yeah, they
Yeah.
get rid of all the cool Cinemax stuff.
Right.
they got rid of all of that.
That
So
sucks.
they just took a gun and
Mhm.
shot themselves in
Yup.
both feet.
Yeah.
All that good content, all that
yeah.
fucking nasty shit, it's
Yeah.
all gone.
You could have just
What's
put
the
it.
point of HBO now?
I don't know.
It's
you,
pointless.
you can't get real sex. You can't
Well-
get like a taxi cab confessions.
No, which was crazy.
You
That
can't
shit
get
was
Cat
crazy.
House.
No.
And even if you get Showtime,
Mhm.
remember like what was that fucking show called?
Elward.
No, it was called with David Duchovny.
That was Showtime.
Oh, it's still there. I know what you're talking about Californication.
No, it's not even that. Before that,
The X Files.
it was called like God. It was like
No, you're thinking of the Red Shoe Diaries.
Red Shoe. That was
Yeah.
David
Was he on
Duchovny.
that?
Yeah, he was on it.
Oh,
Red Shoe Diaries.
was Red Shoe Diaries?
Red Shoe Diaries was David Duchovny.
Are you? He wasn't on that, was he?
I think he
we're gonna
was.
find out. I mean, he might have been. I thought they were all different stories. I don't know. Yep, there he is.
Holy shit! All right.
Billy's nasty.
Why do I
I was the
ever
thing,
second
the thing
guess
is like
Billy?
nasty?
like
kidding.
I was rich as a kid, so we got HBO, we got
Yeah,
HBO,
same
like Showtime, Cinemax,
movie channel.
Yeah, so all that shit,
Yep,
like
yep.
like go to bed. It's like I would like
See, and the thing that sucks about, and I was thinking about this the other day, the thing that sucks about them shuttering real sex is like you get so much pornography where you see people who aren't I mean, they're real people, but they're not the realistic expectation of what, your
I get
part-
it. Yeah, totally.
And you watch real sex and it was absolutely the realistic expectation of like what you're going to have, like what you're going to find.
Also,
And-
it's a documentary series.
Sure. But like, they would have like old people like naked and you're like, oh God. Oh. But
Ugh.
but they're all like at a commune and it's very peaceful. And like, you're like, put your shirt on. But now you're like, no. And so like, I feel like there's, that was one of those programs that like showed realistic. I mean, it showed the other,
Mhm.
but it showed like realistic body expectations, which I thought was, when I was younger, I didn't like it, but like as an older, I'm like,
that's a very fucking like
Mhm.
poignant, like
Like-
very
yeah.
actually realistic thing
Yeah.
about what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it provided all of this.
Absolutely, it did.
I
It-
learned.
you
I
know,
learned
it was like a
sexual
docu series.
awareness
Yeah,
from that
Yeah,
show.
right.
I learned that from that show, and they're like, it's basically a documentary series, and they're like, oh, we're just not going to provide this information anymore.
I'm sure you can find it still. Probably. I don't know.
You know what ended all that fucking
Mm-hmm.
like good content was Girls Gone Wild.
You miss all the Girls Gone Wild content.
No, thing is like once
Yeah.
that,
That guy
happened,
went to prison. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason. No.
really?
Oh yeah, he's in prison still. Joe Francis.
No.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I'm telling you, like
He might be out.
all this
He
good
might be out.
all this good like pay for view content.
Mhm.
It was like very fluid, very like existential. Like you watch this like fucking porn, like softcore porn,
Mhm.
but then fucking Girls Gone Wild came out, and now it's this raunchy as shit, nasty.
Right.
It was bad, dude.
Hated it.
Nasty.
And
Here's a T-shirt. You're like, what?
I-
Shield did that for a T-shirt.
I walked in.
Wow, he just got out this year.
What?
Yeah.
For how long? How long was he in there?
Here you go, man. Girls Gone Wild might be back.
I hope not.
Jesus.
God, I hope not.
I'm telling you, like, I would walk into like these parties in Portales, and it was like fucking like
just people playing it. Yeah.
DVDs.
Oh, guys would have it. Yeah.
The VHSs just like on the fucking wall. That right there.
Yeah. I don't know how long he was in jail.
He was in jail for a long time. Apparently, SK. But anyway, I'm telling you that this
Let's see if we can find out.
idea of like media porn. I wouldn't say porn, but like erotica.
It only says 339 days, so
I'm telling you, like
That's a year, dude. That's over a year.
I thought he's been in jail for a long time.
A year is a pretty long time for
I meant
someone
like,
that rich.
I meant like years. Yeah, that's true. Very good point, Smiley.
But to any of you, like I've never had the privilege of dealing with the scrambled screen.
Oh
you know?
yeah. The Spice Channel.
Spice Channel, yeah, right.
shit.
Yeah.
And you would buy it's like a converter.
And so like you paid for it. It was a pay thing, or you know, your friend they would go get the illegal chip put in their satellite
The descrambler.
the descrambler, and they
What?
would get, yeah, and then it like that was a whole thing for a long time. And I want to wrap it up. We're like at time, and I gotta roll out. But like that was a big thing. People would have those. When I was in high school, like we're out in the country, and you'd have that big satellite dish that moved. It had like a mechanical arm on it.
The huge
Because
fucking
it
satellite.
had to
Yeah.
move.
And you would get like the monthly catalog or guide. And I mean, there was so many different like satellites, and you would like type it in, and it would move the whole satellite dish, right? So then
and
like
you get that, it'd be all readjusting.
yeah, and like
as it moves the satellite.
so then like pretty much like I'm not gonna call anybody out, but pretty much the places you bought them from would fucking on the side like take like a couple $100 and like give you an illegal chip, and you got access to everything. And
Spice
so,
Channel.
Oh, so like I mean like every HBO, all pay channels, pay-per-views, they would have everything. And so like we didn't do that. But actually hold on.
I'm sorry, I did that.
No, so my parents' friends, I went to high school with their son, and we would all, we weren't really great friends, but like my parents would go hang out at their house, and I'd go over there, and like they had the Spice Channel, and so we would just fucking watch porn all the time when I was in high school at his house. But then every so often, the satellite company, I don't know how they did it, they would zap it, and they'd have to take it in and get it reprogrammed and pay like a couple $100, and then they'd be back. Because I remember going over his house, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the satellite got zapped. We can't watch fucking Spice Channel." I just remember because there was always this one guy in the porno, and his name was TT Boy, and everybody's like, and all the kids in high school would be like, the guy would be fucking, and they'd pan over to him, and everybody'd be all, "It's TT Boy." Yeah. Let's see.
Are we talking about the 90s or like
Yeah.
the 2000s?
The late 80s, early 90s. There's TT Boy. I fuck like TT Boy. There's a t-shirt. But everybody knew. They're like, TT Boy. All right. I got to get out of here.
All right. Hey, 10 Drink Nation is no
What?
guest this week. It's
No.
like the rawest part of us,
Dirty.
talking about
TT Boy.
TT Boy.
Real sex.
talking about stealing some satellite stations and
And the thing is, like, the person who actually can give you the lowdown is our old co-host,
Holly Ann?
and Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that motherfucker was
Yeah.
a porn fucking like aficionado.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
let's actually start another podcast just about TT Boy.
About TT Boy. I fuck like TT Boy. So yeah, check us out. Coming up soon, we're probably gonna have some pretty cool guests coming in. Next week,
yeah,
Billy's
that's
not
right.
gonna be here, so we're gonna have one of our friend Peach come back and do the show with us. So
Oh, I love Peach.
yeah. What are you doing? You didn't even tell me what you're doing. Oh, you gotta go. Yeah, you got a dentist appointment.
Dentist appointment.
At like 5? I guess
No,
so.
the thing is, like, it's at
Oh,
12:30, so I have
gotcha.
to
it's
switch.
a dentist appointment, man.
That's true. All
You know
right.
what happens there?
Yeah, they punch you in the mouth. But yeah. So thank you guys for listening. With that, we are 10 drink minimum.